Welcome everybody to Two Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room. This is Don.
And Doug.
Today is going to be a little bit of some spontaneous fun. Doug didn't even get the memo on what this one's going to be about. So today we are going to be discussing, for all these TikTok patriots out here that think that they can survive a war, we're going to talk about how and who and what would happen if somebody was to invade the United States. Now, remember, this topic is strictly the United States, so you don't get any assistance from Canada or Mexico, so they're going to take out the center of North America. Doug, what do you think? Who do you think could even first have that kind of capability to try to invade this country?
It'd have to be China.
You think so?
Well, Russia's too stupid.
Well, they've showed the world that.
And Korea ain't gonna do shit but shoot missiles as far as they can reach it.
That's true.
Or North Korea or whatever. Yep. Or we'll kill ourselves, one or the other.
What about Iran?
It's a possibility. I really haven't read too much into how
they're dominating the Air Force.
How stood up they are, but I don't know, man. I think China's better off than Iran is.
Okay. No. Definitely with the Army side of it.
Yeah.
The Air Force is probably better, but I do agree it would probably be hard to get aerial strikes over our land.
I think it'd be hard for anybody to get aerial strike over our lands now since 1941.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got it narrowed down to China, right? So how do you think China would do the initial invasion?
The initial invasion.
Would it be airstrikes and missiles and try to weaken our defenses to be able to get people on ground, or?
Yeah, I think I would like to think the U.S. has learned their lesson with aerial strikes, and we would catch that shit before it happened. So honestly, I think if the U.S. gets hit by anything, it's gonna be missiles from somewhere. Whether set up somewhere, it's gonna be missiles.
Not necessarily nuclear.
Not necessarily nuclear. No. But to me, there will be a purpose behind the whole thing. They're not just gonna be the Taliban and just set up fucking frozen RPG rounds and just wait for them to melt before they set off into your fob and shit. They're not gonna do nothing like that. It's gonna be planned.
Well, that's kind of interesting that you say it that way, because if you look at the way that we've changed tactics, you go from Vietnam and Korea. Those were two way different wars that we trained. And when we started going into Iraq and Afghanistan, we completely changed our tactics. So, I think we're better set up now for that type of an enemy where it's little, people here and there setting up ambushes and hide and seek type missions. So if you don't think it would be the same way like that, do you think it would hurt our ground troops that are no longer trained for that patrol type face-to-face type combat with an actual squad, company, battalion size elements?
Definitely would hurt,
because the training would have to go back to old school, but you no longer have the people in your service.
Because what
that
we
train.
trained, because when we first started, we trained for jungle warfare
Yep.
until Iraq started heating up. And then we kind of shifted over from jungle warfare to desert, or what was it, urban warfare? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's urban.
And or close quarter combat. You
Yep.
know, I mean, we switched over to that,
Which changed everything. It changed
yeah.
our hand-to-hand combat. We went through that phase where we started painting everything tan.
Yeah,
You know, you didn't see any camouflage green
I had one.
vehicles. Yeah, I mean, there's still some out there,
Yeah,
but dominantly everything was,
I
contracted.
liked mine though.
You did like
Well,
it.
I dug it. Yeah, you had to dig it though. I think serial number on that bitch was like 69. I mean, it was an old motherfucker. It lasted though. It went through the war, but
Yeah.
I and it's hard. I mean, because you've been out for a while now. I mean, I've been out 4 years, so it's like, what are they training on now? I have no idea.
I wonder that when I see some of the troops.
Oh, definitely. And it makes you think like, what the hell are they training on? And then with the government where it's at now, and it's just like,
Yeah.
it and like when we went and got our concealed carry, and you see the preppers,
Yeah.
and the preppers that are just like, I mean, as you were, we were driving to the place, and you see the choke points and the trench lines, and it's just like, wait, and we're way past banjo music by now. And
Right,
it's just
right.
like, what, and you see all this shit, and then, you don't think nothing. But I mean, we still ask the questions, and we pulled up, and it's a solid like brick home, or not even brick homes. It was
Concrete.
cylinder block homes full of rebar and concrete, and you're just like, I was like, I've seen houses like this in like Puerto Rico and shit for hurricanes and stuff like that, but we're in the middle of Missouri. It's just,
Yeah. And you think about, that day when we went out there, it's people like me and you that even analyze roads like, man, what a choke point, look at all these little makeshift bridges that we're crossing, and they could easily just be destroyed to hinder and slow down, people getting out to it.
Yeah.
So, unless you're looking for it, the ones that aren't so obvious is probably the ones that would survive in my thing. The guys that are on TikTok, talking about what they're going to do and what, they're the ones that's going to be pissed when the AC goes out. But so let's say China does get ground troops on, right? Looking at our downsized military now, how far inland do you think they would get? Because that same thing happened, in Vietnam, when we were just kicking the shit out of the North Vietnamese, and then China interfered, and it instantly pushed us all the way back down to like Saigon.
Right. Yeah.
So let's say China gets in. Let's say nobody else helps them. It's China on their own. They come in through the inland. How far do you think they get before our military slows them down?
I mean, it's probably sad to say, but you got to look at the states too, though. I mean, because like you look at like Florida is an all-out, gun state. Alabama, I believe, that's a retiree.
Yeah.
That's where everybody goes to retire.
So you think you don't think the military is a factor? You think the civilians
I don't
are
think
a factor?
I think I mean, you gotta look at it. I mean, because like the initial invasion, like Iraqi freedom, like 1, 2, and 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were good to like shoot anything you wanted to shoot.
Right.
If they had a gun, shoot them.
Right.
And then ROE kept changing.
Because we were killing farmers.
And then like we were getting people were getting Article 15s for not tying down their load. They were getting Article 15s for not wearing a seatbelt. This, that, the other, and it's just like, where are we going with this, man? We're still in combat, but yet we're handing out Article 15s for all this simple shit. And it was, to me, it was just stupid. And so just to think of what the military's at right now, and it's just like they're there, they're going to be like making some damn speed bump, holding an M4 with no magazine in it,
Oh yeah, that bothered me when I seen that up in DC.
With what is it? What do we call that? Show of force.
Yeah.
Show of force.
That's it.
So they'll have it at the, they won't even have it at the low and ready. They'll have it like just hanging off their front, probably.
Yeah, because their hand will be on their cell phone recording.
Right. So it's difficult to say, man. Honestly, what our military would be at right now, because I mean, like I said, I've been gone for 4 years, so you've been gone longer than that. So it's hard to say, but I have, I mean, I think it'll fall on, who wants to keep their land longer.
So I think about that all the time, and I don't know if I'm just weird or if it's just because of the shit that I've seen, and I know what people in countries and greed governments are capable of, but I kind of wonder, myself, is it better to try to self-forticate and be inside a home or a dwelling and try to stand your ground? Because if what you're saying is true, that the army is basically going to be the speed bump, and it's
I ain't saying the army, I'm saying
military in general, right? But at the end of the day, that means the only chance the country has is the largest militia in the world, which is the gun owners, But the one advantage that the military has over them is there's a chain of command, and there's sections that are doing nothing but planning, and then you got the people that are on ground doing it, and your battle staff that's planning and taking the info of the enemy. You won't have that in the regular gun owner. It will be me trying to protect my house and my family, you over here trying to protect your house, your family, and that what's the big thing, to divide and conquer. That's, so if they're already divided, then they're easily conquered. So does that mean that there's no chance? No, it just means that, like I said, all these people on TikTok and that are talking, there's still no planning. There's no agreement of who's in charge. And it just shows that the average person still can't set their ego aside to
there'll be
accomplish the mission.
There will be a lot of dead Americans.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no, if you were talking TikTokers, there'd be a lot of dead guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why a lot of these preppers, even if you watch that show, Preppers, right? They have a small circle of who they allow in it.
Oh yeah.
Their plan isn't to protect their whole city, their whole neighbors. It's what do you have that can help us, and do we need you? Because their plan isn't to beat whatever's coming. Their plan is to survive whatever's coming.
Because I mean, we met them. We met some that had a plan all the way down to their grandchildren.
Yeah. But it's just their kin.
But it is just their kin. All the neighbors around them. Granted, I mean, they own what, like 10, 15. Some of them own like 10, 15 acres. Mm-hmm. At a minimum, but they had a plan. They had a pretty damn good plan, but some of them were crazy.
Absolutely. And again, those guys that I think that are prepared can easily withstand what they're protecting themselves against. Their plan isn't so much about a whole country coming into the day. Their plan is, when our government falls apart, protecting themselves against other Americans that are just trying to steal their stuff. And those plans, they're gonna win. They're gonna conquer that problem. Especially where we went to, because the average person's not going to put that much effort when there's too many city dwellings that they can easily take. They're not driving that far out in the country in hopes that they can get in and hope they can get whatever they want.
Yeah.
They're going to go through neighborhoods and take that out. So until if it went on for years, then maybe the search would get wider and people would start going out.
I mean, we're pretty big though. It'll probably take a couple countries to come in and take us.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that.
This and I don't see. So realistically, right? In my thoughts, if a country did invade America, Mexico would fall apart. They're
not fell apart yet.
Well, they would, compared to now, they would really fall apart.
Okay.
Canada would probably join in with us.
Oh yeah,
because if we lose, they lose.
yeah.
So I do think that whoever would come into this country would have to say, we have to beat Canada and America. You would have to know that. And then on top of that, right, your question is, how strong is the UN? Does the UN really, is the UN really UN? When we now need assistance provide that we no longer are giving you money, we're asking for all the favors that we've called up. You know, I can promise you, France won't be there.
Yeah.
You know, so it brings me to wonder. Is the main reason why nobody has ever invaded us because of the size? You go back in history, you look at the Roman Empire, they were doing great until they expanded so far out and they owned so much land, they no longer had the people and the abilities. They were literally hiring slaves to join their military in return for freedom, which now means you no longer have a volunteer military, which makes it weaker. A billion-man army, isn't the same as a 500 million volunteer army. We've seen that in Iraq. How we were literally just taking the weapons away from prisoners and telling them to leave because we were overran with all the people, the refugees that were giving up. They didn't want to fight and they were being forced to, and they realized that the peanut butter and crackers that we were giving them, or the MREs, was better than what their own country was giving them. So at that point,
I still say, and I've said this for the last century probably. We take all the death row inmates.
Oh yeah.
Tell them that you serve us for 1 year in combat. And if you're alive at the end of that, you're free.
Yeah.
Give them a gun, put them out there.
I still don't think that you would get enough people that were.
I ain't saying get enough people.
They would, but it would slow down. It would be a front, that would slow down, give you time to plan. But again, as long as you still have to have your S2, and without that,
they would have to work for somebody though. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. There's the downsides of the military.
I mean, we're going to anyway.
Yeah, and you're going to have to. At the end of the day, you're going to have to draft. We will be like Ukraine, and if the U.S.
start handing out guns.
Yeah, and say you're now part of the military. If you're 18 and between 18 and 60, you're.
How's the draft work?
So
no, I mean like as far as like they still got to go to boot camp.
Yes, they still go to training.
So they go to boot camp. They fail boot camp. They don't get drafted.
They don't fail boot camp anymore. I mean, you don't.
Well, you can't
fail boot camp now. All right. So you think at the end of the day, boot camp, you're going to be pushed through it. Yeah, you're either going to learn it or you're going to die when you get there.
A stupid question. My bad. I'm sorry.
They probably would not even do the PG test. Basic training would probably get taken from what is it, 8 weeks down to 30 days.
Is it like it's still a male and female boot camp, right? I mean, there's no
no,
fucking
it's commingle.
No, I'm saying there's no transgender bullshit, is there?
Oh, it's coming. I'm sure.
It might be after I don't fucking know.
I mean, they're
4 years ago when I got out, they were talking about fucking NTC having a fucking transgender bathroom and shit. So.
Yeah, it's coming. I never thought I would see the whole day, that we got to when I got out.
That'd be the first new bathroom in NTC in 50 years? 60?
Yeah, I don't know. What would that urinal look like? Does it have an option to sit or an option to stand?
What would that look like? Or maybe you have to sit in the urinal.
I don't know. And it is crazy, man. How the military has evolved into what it has evolved into, and I'm not talking overall. We still got a damn good military, but the society and the politics has really played a role in our combat readiness. And people don't understand, and that's my whole point of this conversation, is that the people out there that think that they're going to just, I went and bought guns, and me and you both know a person that's in that category that just buys guns and he thinks he's getting ready for the apocalypse. Really have no idea until you go to a third world country that's been overran and destroyed. Until you've been in Bosnia and you see people burning their front yards to stay warm, or you lose an interpreter and it takes 6 to 8 weeks to find out whether or not that person was even in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no computer systems. All that is gone. So now it's back to, it's not about cell phones, it's about food, water, shelter, clothes. And people aren't mentally ready for that. When they hear their kids crying because they can't have McDonald's or they don't have their favorite toy, their video games don't work no more. They're not even raising kids like what these third world countries raise their kids.
Some of these guys buying all these damn guns and they ain't shot, don't even know how to shoot.
Right.
And they're high-powered fucking sniper rifles. They're buying. Absolutely. They don't even know what they have.
Right. Absolutely.
And they're spending all this money, and they're like, "Well, I ain't shot this one yet."
And they're buying images. They're everybody raves about this new gun, but they don't realize it's about caliber.
It's about their fingers. It's about the shooter.
Right. But it's also realistically, you need a hunting rifle, you need a self-defense rifle, shotgun, couple pistols. It doesn't have to be that fucking M1 Grand. It just has to be a gun, and it's about caliber. What round are you using and the purpose of the round? Do you use a 7.62 to go squirrel hunting? I mean,
I can.
You can.
It ain't gonna be much left, but
right.
Yeah.
And that's my point. So
depends on what I'm feeling like that day.
When people buy these guns, they should think about what is their purpose. Are they planning on being mobile? Are they planning on protecting their house and fortifying and staying where they're at?
Are you going squirrel hunting or are you going squirrel hunting?
Right. Absolutely. But there's a lot of things that people don't take, and some of those preppers, like what we seen, that guy didn't do that overnight.
Oh no,
there was probably years of just planning before they even started the building.
It just wasn't him either.
No, absolutely not. His wife at the time.
His family was into it.
Yeah.
To have a script all the way down from you, your immediate family, all the way down to your grandkids, like they know and they have like practiced it. Yeah. Like he knows what his job is when this goes down. And it's just like, it was just amazing to hear this. And it's just like, wow, I've heard about it. That was the first real story that I got to see.
Yep.
And actually dude, there was bunkers and trenches and it's just like
buried vehicles,
and we brought up the choke points. He's like, oh yeah, we can blow them at any time. And I'm like, well, wait, what? Yeah. It's just like, holy shit, I'm in Korea again.
And all the way down to the maintenance. They each person had their job of making sure that the generator still ran and there was no problems, making sure that the fuel was topped off all the time, circulating that fuel so it wasn't 3-year-old fuel that was just sitting there. I mean, everybody, like you said, had a job. Even though nothing is going on, they still had preventive maintenance and checks and services. Today's your monthly fucking check. It's time to go out there and drain that generator and let's buy fucking 80 gallons of fresh fuel.
It was crazy. It was. But that's, I'm sure he's not the only one.
He's not.
And they're all over the place. It was awesome to meet the guy and
it kind of makes you wonder,
see what he's about.
Is there a secret little organization of these guys?
Too.
Oh, he could shoot. Yeah, he was talking about 80 yards with pistols.
They got shooting markers all over the fucking place too.
Yeah.
You knew exactly there's 100 yards, there's 200 yards. It just it was crazy.
Yeah, and then he was even talking about with his advanced course that they get you to the point where you're shooting a 9mm pistol at like
left
80
or,
yards.
left or right-handed.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
80 yards.
That would be funny doing it left-handed.
You know, that's pretty damn impressive.
I'll be lucky to shoot anything 20 feet left-handed.
Oh yeah, we tested that theory.
We did, right?
I don't think we hit anything.
I don't think we did very good at all.
No, it's a whole different animal.
Need a shotgun to shoot left-handed.
Absolutely.
I'll hit something with a damn pellet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What the fuck?
Well, this was interesting, man.
This was different, and I fucking hate every fucking minute of it. And I appreciate you throwing me under the bus like that.
Well, I've been there this week, so
Insightful and
it feels good to finally drive.
oh, fuck you.
So absolutely, you know, and again, man, all of our discussions is entertaining and fun.
I will tell you this though, if I ever know they're coming here, right, to where we live, I'm gonna call you up. I'm like, Don, come on over, park on the side road, come through the wood line, and meet me in the back.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, bring the 300.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be fun.
I mean, you've tested loyalty with me, so
Yeah.
I've been dropped in some shitholes.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but you know, like I said, man, it's all entertainment, and you know, it's fun sometimes just to think about the what ifs and what you would do and the capabilities, and kind of get away from the norm and just expand your box a little bit, you know. But at the end of the day, there's still a current war going on that we're trying to get the word out and get the point, you know, and that's, you know, veteran suicide. It's a serious issue, you know. All joking aside, if you need help, reach out to us. Reach out to some of the organizations that we've talked with. The fastest way to get help and get you back into the fight is the suicide prevention line. It's 1-800-273-8255. You got Chief Rathburn's organization, Leaving the Sidelines. It's at leavingthesidelines.org. They're primarily on the West Coast. You can reach out to them. You can talk to them on any social media form. There's always somebody available who can relate. You know, it's not just people that are trained to talk to people, but they can actually relate to what you're going through.
There's also Brooke.
Yep, there's Brooke Jackson with her organization for female veterans. It's called she'stheveteran.org. It's all about mental health awareness for the female veteran. So if you fall in that category and you feel like you're kind of being overlooked, that's a great resource. They have group meetings. They're primarily in South Carolina, and they are expanding as well. They have tons of programs for you to join and get out of your head for a while and get away with like-minded people that have been there and are in that same situation. So you know, between these areas, man, there's tons of help, and even as a first step, if you're not sure, you know, you can reach out to us. You know, pick our brain for a while, tell us what's going on, and you know, we'll give you the best advice that we can, or maybe you just need somebody to have a beer with.
You know, there you go.
We can do that too. So we appreciate everybody for listening. As always, if you could help us out and grow our family, it would allow us to reach more people. So, you know, download our podcast, follow us on YouTube, and watch our podcast. Hit us up on Facebook, join us on our weekly lives, you know, have a few drinks with us, have a good time. We look forward to seeing everybody. Thanks. Y'all take care.